Welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. Like I said earlier, for those who are here, the idea behind today's meeting or the call is to kind of present to everyone. Um, I don't know, because of how widely this advert was sent. I don't know who came in through the WhatsApp group. Um, that we have for ads and all of that. So what we're trying to do here is to kind of explain in as like in a concise format what IT audit is, and a couple of other things that we're going to also touch on today, right? And also be able to take questions. We have, and I want to say this ahead of time, this is a mini version of what will be coming up end of the month. I think I believe on the 29th of March, which is a time that we hope will, take a lot more time to discuss IT audits, the complexities and, the nuance attached to the course, right? So this is maybe a very condensed version of that for people who want to make maybe a quick decision on their next steps. That's what this is. So, this is like a very quick agenda for what we have in plan, which the welcome notes is what I just did. And then I'll talk about a couple of other things. I'll talk about cybersecurity, IT audits, and GRC in general, right? And then we can talk about career opportunities as well, very, very briefly. Unfortunately, we might not be able to demonstrate as we had planned to do with LinkedIn, right? But the idea is, I think we can maybe try and figure that out in the next call, and then see how to get it across to us, right? So that's the agenda for today. So first of all, I'd like to start by saying that my name is Namdi, and I work for UOT Group, and on the screen here you see Uche Jibno, who is the lead instructor and the owner of UOT Carriers, right? He's the one that is going to take the open day that I mentioned earlier on the 29th. But here you have a couple of different, like kind of sneak peek into his long career, right? He's had the opportunity to train over 7,000 students, right? We had particular success when or during COVID, right? I think that's where like we kind of that was a turning point moment for the business. But the business had been operating way before then. We have success stories up to 5,000 of that, and we're going to hear a couple of that today, right? And we continue to receive new success stories almost on a weekly basis from our students and those who are getting, like those who have jobs and are getting more jobs and all of that. So that's something I wanted to just highlight, to at least to hopefully be able to convey to us that we are not imaginary people. We have physical presence in the US, where we operate from, but we've been able to successfully train people from different continents, in Africa, in the UK, in Australia, and in Ireland as well. So that's a very brief history for Uche, who is the founder of the business, right? I would move to show us, like, kind of backstory, if I could call it that, of some of the things that we offer. So what I'm doing here is maybe an intro into the business, and then we'll get fully into the things that we have to do today. So these are some of the courses that we have on offer. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, right? Because the idea is, this is not the full deep dive into each of these courses. The idea here is just to highlight, in a very quick slide, the different other services or trainings that we offer, depending on what catches your fancy. Maybe if it's not IT audit and you're a bit more technical, maybe you could explore any of the other options that we have. So all of that is a possibility. right? We offer all of these things, virtual training. I think maybe something, I don't know if it's fully captured here, but maybe in a different slide, that I just want to reiterate is one of the differentiators for us as trainers from other companies is that we ensure that we have what we call capstone projects incorporated into our trainings. So as students, you go through our trainings and you're not living with theoretical knowledge, you're living with hands-on experience and a couple of other services, like, for instance, interview training and all of that. So we pride ourselves with providing almost personalized forms of training, right? Where we are not just training you just for theory sake or just knowledge sake, right? We try and make sure that we apply you to that knowledge, like we apply the knowledge to you as well as other things that we do subsequently, right? So, which I think is more broadly covered in a different slide, right? So that's a very quick intro into UOT careers as a business, right? But for a bit of gameplay, right? Just so we can get to know each other a bit more. I don't know if maybe we can take the time to go to this site. Maybe you can just scan this QR code and it will take you through a couple of questions, right? So if we can please do that very quickly. I don't know who, everyone who is connected to the call, please just indulge me for maybe 2 minutes. It shouldn't take up to a minute, actually. It's just a few questions. But the idea is just for us to get to, I'm just trying to fill out the group or the crowd so I know how I can tailor the presentation. So I'll leave this here. I will stop sharing just for a minute, but it will still be, or let me just leave it, displayed for a minute. Do we still need some time? Hello.
Yeah, we're right here.
Okay, cool. Are you there on the site? Just trying to know whether.
Yeah, it says please wait for the presenter to change slides.
Oh, I didn't know I had to push it. I am sorry. Okay, so let's go. Has it changed?
Not yet.
Okay, so I think I need.
Okay,
Sorry.
I had to refresh it. That's changed.
Okay. I am currently on his. Okay, there's just one response. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, two. I think there are more people on the call, so I'm wondering why there is. I was wondering if we could maybe just very quickly, because the idea here is just to spend 2 minutes doing this to getting into the main item that we have. Okay. Just 4 people. So I'll hold on maybe 5 more seconds and I move on. Okay. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. So do you guys see the next slide? Okay, cool. See that people are responding. That's nice. That is nice. Again, I'll spend maybe 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so what area of IT audit are you most interested in? Okay, IT risk, GRC, IT audit and compliance, cybersecurity. Nice. Okay, so unfortunately, nobody has selected others, so I don't know if that's good, but that's fine. So I guess I will move on to the next slide, which is, are you ready to transition into tech? Like, I got the previous feedback about different things, customer service and all of that, so that is good. Okay, so you're ready to transition into tech. Very someone said very ready. That's nice. I like the energy, like Uche would normally say. Okay, so next slide is, have you done trainings before? Like, have you had any form of training, especially IT training, before? How was it? Maybe if you could just a small phrase, like, what was your experience like for any of those trainings? We're trying to just use this as data points, or I am trying to use it as data points to be able to properly address each of our requirements. That's what I'm trying to do here. So I see it's just one response. So I'm going to assume that everybody else has had trainings. Okay, first time, so that's good. Yes, I did, but not enough support. So I got no job offer. Okay, so that's fine. So for some of these things, it's good that we're getting some of this insight, because I'm going to address some of that in this presentation as well. So yes, on this platform. Oh, nice. Hopefully the person who said on this platform can provide some insights, if we have the time, on how the training, the experience was for them. Been interviewing, but no job offer. Done, but no job yet. Okay, that's cool. So next slide is, do you understand what IT audit, risk, or cybersecurity is? So do we know what this is? Okay, so want to learn is there. So there's nobody on the call who doesn't know what it is. So that's good. So that means we are knowledgeable. But there are also a few people who want to learn. So that's good. Okay. So that's it. That's the end of the session, right? So I will try and see if I can. I don't want to change what I'm currently showing, so I'll just mention some of the. So most of the feedback I got is from the US, which is not surprising, since most of our students are based off in the US, so that's fine. The question about what's your current job is a range of different things. So someone said accountant, someone said a student, IT audits, customer service representative, certified medication aid. So those are some of the feedback we got. And then what's your current pay? So I think the highest I got here is $20 to $40 per hour, right? So that's good. That's not a bad salary range to work with. I think that's probably the highest, like that's the most prevalent range in the US, right? So what area of IT audits are you most interested in? A lot of people said IT audits compliance. So that's not surprising. 2 people said cybersecurity. So that's fine. Are you ready? Everybody said yes. So that's good. So a couple of people also said they don't have enough experience. So let me jump right into the presentation. Hopefully I'll be able to speak to some of the answers that we just received, right? So, I will start with, cybersecurity, IT audit and risk, right? One of the biggest reasons I am sure some of us are doing this training is because of the considerable increase or desire, right, to earn more. So that's something I am going to maybe talk about first, to talk about money, because that's really important. So it's very important, right? IT auditors make very good money, right? Compared to a lot of jobs that you have available, right? The IT audit is essentially a six-figure job role or job function where you have possibilities of earning upward of $65 per hour, upward of over $100 per hour, depending on the level of the role you get. I think one of the slides that I'm going to show us very soon has details of some of the salary ranges. So we will get to see that. So it's shown there. Sorry. So that's something that we currently have the opportunity to give to people or to give to our students who put in the work and are able to follow up with a job afterwards. And also you have a lot of remote jobs available, right? So if you have a family, if you have maybe some requirements that does not require you to get into the office or move as much as possible, right? You have remote job options as well. So that's a big benefit for IT audit roles and IT GRC in general roles, right? You don't need a tech degree as well, right? So that's also another benefit. So all of these things are things you could get. These are all benefits for the program that we offer, right? So I would also like to also maybe explain who an IT auditor is, right? And, what they do. Because we've been saying it and a couple of people saying they don't, like they would want to learn about IT audit. So maybe just to explain a bit more. So it's essentially like you performing a check on a system, right? To know whether things are running the way they ought to run. That's a very generic description of what an IT auditor is, right? But to try and refine it a bit more, I would say that an IT auditor is a professional who checks an organization's technology systems and practices to make sure that they are secure, efficient, and follow certain rules or regulations, standards, or policies. So you get to look at things like software, you look at data handling, you look at privacy, you look at technology, and a range of different things, right? And that's essentially, that's a like, I would say an elevator pitch of what an auditor or who an auditor is, and what they do, right? What does an IT auditor do, right? So you identify risk, you identify weak points within an organization's process and systems. I'm sure we've heard of the saying that your defense is only as strong as your weakest link, right? So if you have a 100-foot wall, but a section of your fence has a 1 feet fence or barricade, then obviously your defense is as high as 1 feet, not 100 feet. Right. So that's essentially what an auditor does. An auditor finds vulnerabilities or loopholes in an organization, right, and identifies ways to implement controls that would fix it or that will fix those vulnerabilities, right? And a couple of other things here, right? So I would just mention the last one and move on to the next slide. So they determine operating effectiveness. This is a bit of a technical word, but essentially what that means is that there are controls in place to safeguard an organization, right? An auditor, an IT auditor ensures that those safeguards are fully functional when they are required and at all times without fail. So that's what's, in a nutshell, what operating effectiveness or operating effectiveness means, right? So that's everything that an auditor does in a nutshell. So these are some of the salary ranges I mentioned earlier. Like I was saying, in terms of salary, you could earn upward of $60 per hour to whatever it is that you're able to negotiate for yourself, really. Right. So on the left here, you have, depending on your bio, you could get jobs of 100,000 to 104,000, upward and up to rather of 158,000. We've had students in the past that have gotten roles that were $100 and something per hour roles, which essentially translates to over $100,000 roles repeatedly, not just once or twice. So we have that success story, and we are going to see a couple of them as well very shortly. In terms of certifications and things to differentiate yourself as well, there are a couple of them. And it might be interesting to note that someone said on the Menti that we just did that they've done training, but there wasn't enough support, so they didn't get a job. So part of what we do is that we try and make sure we don't just train you, but we also support you for taking certifications, right? So that's something that we also actively provide in hand with the training. So we're not training you on the theory part. We are training you, preparing you for your certifications. And we also have dedicated certification programs as well, which I believe, I will get the correction if I'm wrong, but I believe it's free of cost to the students, the prep itself, to get prepared for CISA, which is the leading certification for auditors. CISA is, the full meaning is Certified Information Systems Auditor, and it's issued by an organization called ISACA. Right. So, but all of these things are options in terms of certifications, and each of them that you have, kind of elevates your profile a little bit more. Right. If you have CISA, that's a big plus for you. If you can do CISSP, fantastic. Right. All of those things are things that will help you. And if you look at the risk one, which is not listed here on the right, you have things like CRISC, which is CRISC. Right. So there are a couple of certifications that we also help you to also achieve if that's something you would like to do. Right. But it's not a requirement. A majority of our students, I would say maybe a 90% percentile of our students do not take any certifications, and they are still able to get jobs. Right. So that's something that will be important to note if you decide to take that route. So I'll move on to risk, and I will not spend too much time here because they are closely related. Risk and IT audit, they are like siblings, like a brother and a sister. So without risk, you cannot have things to audit, right? So you need to have risk and identify those risks, and then you'll be able to now set up control programs to manage or to mitigate that risk, right? So risk is a very important and critical component of any form of cybersecurity program, because without identifying, if you have a risk that is not identified, it is something that a hacker or a malicious actor can exploit, right, and gain access to the system. So that's a very critical component, like I would say maybe foundational, right, to the concept of cybersecurity. So that's what risk is. So like I promised, I'm not going to spend too much time here, but essentially what you do here is you develop policies, procedures, and controls to manage risk associated with data loss, system downtime, cyber attacks, and other threats, right? So that's the only part I'm going to touch on. Maybe the only thing I would also highlight here is the different certification programs and job titles that you can get as a risk analyst. So GRC analyst. So you'll see the benefit of these courses that we offer is look at the range of roles that you can apply to, right? This is just for risk. This is not for audit. Audit also has a range of roles that you can apply to. So you're not a medical practitioner, for example, that you can only apply to just one role, a primary healthcare doctor, for instance, or a heart surgeon. As IT auditors, you can apply to any job function that has or requires any of these job roles, right? Because we give you rounded update or insight into each of the programs, right? So you can take up each of them. So moving on to the next slide, which is cybersecurity or SOC analysts, which is the particular one that we offer. So cybersecurity is maybe like the umbrella term, right? But the training that we offer you is SOC analysts, right? Which is Systems Operations Center analysts. SOC analysts are important because these are like gatekeepers, watchers, right? For an enterprise. When things are happening in the enterprise, there are certain systems and checkpoints that are put in, automated systems that are used to report things as they happen. A SOC analyst is required to go through each of those items, right, and identify what is noise and what is an active maybe attack going on. So I would give a very quick example. When you have someone trying to log in into their account and they can't remember their password, right? The person might want to log in 3 times, and there's a system control that says after the 3rd time of trying to log in, the system will lock you or will lock your account for 1 hour. So that's a control, right? But in the back end, a SOC analyst might get a notification saying invalid password attempts, right? So for that SOC analyst, it is their job in addition to many other things, right? So it's not like it's a very narrow scope. I'm just giving a particular scenario for what they do, but they do way more things. That SOC analyst will then take time to analyze that prompt to see if there is the possibility of a malicious attack going on, or if it was just maybe an honest mistake, that somebody just forgot their password and they couldn't log in, and that's why. So, a SOC analyst is essentially a gatekeeper. The events come in, malicious events or just events in general, and they are now tasked with highlighting what is noise and what is true. And they carry out other things like, for example, remediation, right? So they can put into play or put actions into play that act to remediate certain situations of attack, right? If there is an actual attack going on, they can follow what they call a playbook to try and remediate those situations and to take care, to fix whatever thing that is going on, right? So that's a nutshell, again, a high level overview of what a SOC analyst does. And in the training that we offer, we take time to explain, the different areas a SOC analyst works in, the kind of tools that they use, technology tools and all of that, and prepare you essentially for work as an IT SOC analyst, right? This also has multiple levels. Multiple job roles. So you have SOC analyst 1, SOC analyst 2, incident manager. So it also has, just like we saw in risk and IT audits, it also has multiple job function roles available as well. But I think this is a good summary. This part is a good summary of what a SOC analyst does. So they prepare for disaster recovery plans. Disaster recovery plans is one of the most important, crucial controls, right? Because if a company does not plan for disaster and how they are going to recover from it when it happens, then they are essentially a ticking disaster going, about to happen, because disaster will surely come or issues will surely arise, right? But how prepared are you for those things when they happen? That's part of the job functions of a SOC analyst, right? Investigate, document, reports any information security issue or incidents. So essentially they act as first responders. They are first on the scene. They are first people notified. And because they have the technical knowledge and experience, they're able to then route or do things that will remediate the situation. So for SOC analysts, just like I did for IT auditors, the training is 4 to 6 weeks. I think it's slightly more now. I can't remember, but that's something we can review. That's not a problem. But for this, it's like 4 to 6 weeks. We get to introduce you, like I said, to a couple of tools: Linux, Windows tools, different tools for event management and all of that, like call SIMs, IDSs, IPS systems, right? So all of that we are going to introduce you to during the course of our training, right? And then if you look here on the right, you'll see a couple of roles as well. So you have SOC Analyst 1 and 2. You have SOC Analyst, Lead, Penetration Tester, Application Security Analyst. So all of these are possibilities or areas that you can specialize in for cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, they earn slightly more than auditors, just slightly, but the range is also stated here: $121,000 and above. That's the range of salary. And all of these things are verifiable. You can actually just go on Google, search what is the average salary range of a SOC analyst, right? It will give you. So it's not like we are trying to mislead you with random dollar values. And these are some of the certifications that you can also take for SOC analyst. So cyber security job search demo. This is where we would have transitioned to show you something on LinkedIn, but unfortunately we couldn't get that LinkedIn set up properly. So I will skip this part. But essentially, what we'll do is we'll need to maybe plan for a different session where we will take time to present how to walk through finding jobs on LinkedIn, set up filters and stuff like that. So we will plan that as another activity or another session on a different day. Hopefully we also get to attend and see how all of that is done. So we have a couple of students that have passed through us who have so graciously, I do not know what I have done. My application now has stopped working. So let me try and remediate that. Hopefully we get the joke behind it. So let me try and sort that out by reopening the presentation, because I'm trying to get the video. Okay, so I have it here. I don't know why these are not links. I think maybe that's why it crashed in the first place. While I try to fix that, I think there's something causing my computer to crash. Let me try and see if I can, by the side, get the links. These are recordings. We couldn't get the students to join this meeting, but we have recordings that we use for our promotional materials that I wanted to play for us, right? But usually what we do is that for each of our trainings, we actually take time to bring in past students, maybe students from the previous cohorts who have just gotten a job and all of that. And they talk about their experience, like how it was during the training, how relatable the training was to the job market. I'm sure maybe while I try and fix this, maybe I'll do something to fill in the blanks of the time. Can someone who, I think I see Hortensia, for example, who I recognize from a previous class. I don't know if you maybe can, in a minute, please just tell us your experience in terms of the training. I know this is on ad hoc or unplanned, but the idea here is to be able to tell prospective students how the training was, the experience itself, and also the I'm looking for the right word here, but essentially the experience you have with the previous students, trying to communicate how it was when they transitioned into looking for jobs and all of that. But maybe if you could tell us in a minute or so while I try and figure out the video links to show us.
Okay.
Good morning.
Yeah, you guys can just go ahead. Just in a minute, but not too long, please, because of time. We'll have a hard stop in the next 20 minutes. Less, actually. So.
Yeah, please go ahead. I can follow after her.
Okay. Potentia, please go ahead.
Okay, hello, can you hear me? Hello, good morning.
Yes, I can. Good morning.
Okay. All right. I joined TOT with the main aim of transitioning into IT audit field, and so far so good. I did like how they organize everything, the lecture, the mode of delivery, the teamwork, and at the end of the day, I feel like I'm somehow already, maybe I'm not yet there, I'm still learning and waiting for the interview sessions, but everything was, I can encourage somebody there who wants to join. UOT is the best way to go. The way they handle, even after class, they're available for reviews in case you did not understand everything. And yeah, and I would encourage you to join as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you, Hortensia. Tunji, please, you can go ahead again, very briefly. And please, for benefit of new people, these are unplanned people. Like, we didn't tell Hortensia she was going to speak today. She's actually still, technically, she just finished our last cohort, which ended yesterday. And then she's joining just to get a feel of the open day process. And, it wasn't planned or anything. Like, this is an impromptu session. Tunji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Professor Unamdi.
I'm not a professor.
Many professors, who are always there for us. Well, I joined the section sometime last year. At that point I joined the session, I didn't even have a permit to work in the US. My family just moved into the US and said, what do I do? I had a background of project management. Somebody told me about IT audits. I struggled trying to make up my mind. So I actually made up my mind late last year when I got my EAD to work. And I tell you, team of Unamdi, Uche, Blessing, and a few other people are going to meet, those guys are too much. They're like partners and brothers. They hold you in their hands. No matter whatever background you are coming from, they are ready to support you all from the beginning to the end. There's someone who's dedicated for, if you want to get certification, there's somebody who specializes in that. Every Saturday, there are interview sessions for you to mock interview, for you to practice. Even when you have interview, they do one-on-one with you. The guys are too much. I've just transited recently, but I tell you, somebody would think I've been into IT audits for many years. So feel at home, you will not miss it. Even after you got a job, for what I gathered, they are ready to mentor you through those challenges you can have until you stabilize. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Tunji and Hortensia. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Please forgive me if I'm not. But yes, so these are our previous students who have gone through the program. And, it's good to get this kind of feedback, right? I think this is probably the most the best kind of marketing we can ever do, which is, people who have used the product saying that this is actually good, and they are not doing it out of compulsion or anything. They are doing it from their free will. So this is the video I wanted to play earlier. Sorry, I just want to confirm, can we all hear that video and see it, maybe? Can someone please?
No, I can hear it.
You can or you can't?
I cannot.
Oh, okay. So why is it not? Okay, you know what? Let me put this on the chat, right? Because of time, I want us to be able to ask or take questions, right? So I will just put it. Oh, okay, it's already there actually. Yeah, I think Gabby put it there. So that's fine. Please, I would encourage us to please take some time, go to that video, watch it, and see how it is. But there is some slide I would like to maybe end with, and that's where I would stop. Unfortunately, my application keeps crashing for some reasons unknown to me. So I will maybe stop here and ask do we have questions? Do we have anything we want to clarify? We have about 10 minutes or so before we have to drop off for a different call. But do we have questions or anything else that is confusing, something that we would want to clarify and stuff like that? And I'll be happy to take those questions. Anybody? Everybody is quiet. Hello? I don't know. Can everybody hear me? I don't know if it's...
I can hear you. Can you hear me? I do have a question.
Yes, please go ahead. I can hear you clearly.
I just want to know what the fees are for IT audits and also for the cybersecurity. Thank you.
Okay, so what I was looking to get was this slide, right? So I wanted to ask if you could maybe review some of the information you have, like go to the site, but I don't know if I should say the price, but but the IT audits course is Uche, please, I don't know if you could please give me the pricing, because let me not speak out of turn.
Nandi, I put it on the chat. So the audit is
okay.
$2,500. Then the cybersecurity is $3,500. Yeah, and the cybersecurity is 8 to 10 weeks, and the audit class is 8 weeks. So, but once you go to the website, we have also those prices on there.
Just to add, we do have payment plans for the various courses, which you can get more information about privately. You can just message Uche and we can send you any information you need.
Okay, so Jumi, is that does that answer your question?
Oh yes, thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other questions? Or like they say in India, do we have any doubts? For those of us who are Bollywood fans or have a lot of Indian friends, they would understand the joke. Do we have any doubts or questions?
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, sorry. How many times a week are your lectures, please?
So depending.
Let me speak to that. Yeah. So I'm good to have you on the call. So the classes are 5 classes in a week. We have classes on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and the weekend, which is Saturday and Sunday. The weekend classes are 3 to 5 Central Time. I don't know what your locations are. what you're looking, where you're located, but I'm in Texas, so we usually go with Central Time. So wherever you are, you can convert the time, 3 to 5. Let's say you're in Eastern Time, it will be 4 to 6. Then the weekday classes are 7 to 9. So which means on Monday we meet at 7 to 9, on Wednesday 7 to 9, and on Friday 7 to 9. And you can also convert those times. So those are basically off work hours. And also we record our sections just in case you're not able to meet up with the classes, and you can reach out. Basically, if you miss the class and you watch the recordings and you have questions, you can reach out to me and I'll give you clarifications. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, any other questions? Any other questions? So I want to leave this here as well, a list of the things here at the bottom, which some of our old students kind of hinted at. These are some of the benefits of these trainings that we offer. We offer you lifetime access to our recordings, boot camps, and hands-on labs. So like the boot camp experience is actually as if you're carrying out an actual active project, right? That's the idea. So it's not training you on theoretical knowledge, right? So these are all things that we include as part of our package. So the pricing that Uche earlier provided, all of this is included in it, right? So we kind of handhold you up until the time you get the job, and even afterwards, to ensure that you get some form of stability in your job function or your job role. So these are benefits or some of the things that we offer, but I would like to maybe just end here.
Can I say something?
Yes, please, Tunji.
Okay, I was also going to add that even when you've gone through the training, you have a job. There's also what they call the UOT alumni for life. So what that means that no matter how long you've gone through that system, you have an alumni group that you can interface and network with. That I think is another plus. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Tunji, for noting that. So, yes, please go ahead. So very quickly.
Yeah, when is the cybersecurity SOC analyst class started?
So what you could help me do is reach out to Jay.
It's in May. It's in May. I'm here. It's in May. No server that is asking. Starting in May.
It's favor. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I don't know if we have any more questions because we have to go within 5 minutes. So I'm just trying to wrap up this. But while we're looking at the details on the screen, I'd like to just say that, we have this planned as something we'll be doing weekly going forward, or even maybe more frequent, depending on the kind of information that we have to pass. So maybe like on a Wednesday and then definitely on Saturday. So we'll try and be doing open days to try and speak about the different programs or courses that we have on offer. But we have a major one coming up on the 29th of this month, which is hopefully we'll spend a lot more time talking about the actual courses. So if you're interested in anything else other than the 2 or the 3 different things I mentioned, I think I have that here. If you're interested in any of these other courses, right, here on the left, and even anything outside of this list, if you think there is something you're interested in that you'd like to get to know if we offer, please feel free to reach out to Uche to get more insights, or just plan to attend on the 29th of this month. And then, we'll get a bit more insight into some of our programs. So, that is all that I have for us today. My name is Namdi. And on the call, I had Uche, who I introduced earlier as the founder of the business and the lead instructor as well. And then Gabi as well, who also works in our team as well. who spoke earlier as well. So that is all that we have for you today. I don't know if there are any final comments or feedback before we wrap up for today. Does anyone have? Okay, yeah.
And I just wanted to wrap up. I wanted to appreciate each and every one of you for joining. I know it was impromptu section, but we're going to have a more extensive section on the 29th. I think it's on Saturday, on Sunday. I can't remember. But that will be our major career open day, and you're going to hear from the different instructors that are covering those different courses and the presented. So this is just more like a pre-section, just to campaign on what we have coming up, and just give people a little bit of information on what we are doing. But I'll see you guys on the 29th. But thanks everybody for joining. You guys can also share across your network. It's also a free section on the 29th, so we can learn, see areas that fits into where we're coming from, and explore those opportunities. Yeah. Well, I'm excited. Looking forward to meeting all of us and helping us make this transition smooth and successful. Yeah. But take care, everybody, and have a good week, good weekend, and a good week as well. Catch up in a few weeks.
Okay, so thank you, Uche. Thank you, everyone. I hope all the questions on the chat, you have your answers. If you still don't have the answers you want, feel free to reach out on WhatsApp, the WhatsApp group that we all have, and we'll be happy to answer you.